Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Burning Desire show. I normally ask how to pronounce someone's name beforehand, but I forgot to, so I presume it's Björn Stenbacka. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's brilliant, actually.
Very
Brilliant.
good. And I think I came across you through a mutual connection on LinkedIn, and then I find Formula One pretty interesting, as I'm sure obviously you do.
Yeah.
So I just thought, which we'll talk about in a moment, it'd be really interesting to hear what you do and what you have to say about Formula One and other sports too.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me and inviting me. So thank you for that.
Pleasure. So I say in the pre-call that I always like to use the Steve Jobs quote that you can't connect dots going forwards, only backwards.
Yeah.
And so were you in your kind of early school days, were you academic? Did you enjoy school? The certain subjects you preferred over others? What sort of character were you back then?
Yeah, I was quite academic, and I started actually as a researcher after I studied economics, and it was when I did research that I found this interesting world of Formula One, actually. So, but my background is it's pretty much in research, and uh, yeah, that's the background.
So once is it you're from Finland, correct?
Yeah, Finland.
So once you is it similar to the UK? I presume is it at 18 do you go from secondary school over to university college? Is that what happens?
Yeah, yeah. Of course, we have the military service also in
Ah,
between everything, and Finland is actually one of the few countries in the world where everybody men have to do the military service, and so yeah, I started at university at I was 20 years old, and that's quite normal, and. We have it's not automatic, of course. We have to uh, try to apply to a university. And I chose economics. And yeah, so that's a quite typical that you start at the university at about 19 or 20.
and
Yeah.
was the national conscription was that in combat and training or was it in something else given your kind of background?
Yeah, sorry, you mean that,
The
yeah.
army, yeah, the army 2 years that you have to spend. Did you have a specific thing that you were doing, or is it more just like basic military training over that period of time?
Yeah, it's you can apply for different things, of course, but everybody has to go through basic. Nowadays, it's 6 months. Uh, the shortest military service, and those having like leadership officer training have at least 12 months of military service. So I did the longer one, and so yeah, uh, I enjoyed the military actually. So I have been very active also in the reserve. Uh, uh, in Finland, you have to after the military, you are in the reserve, and you are not everybody, but you get these invites to different military operations and exercises regularly, and I have been quite often actually. So yeah,
So then you go to study economics and you get a master's, right? Is it at the same
yeah,
time?
yeah. It's a master's, yes, master's degree, and I had a plan actually. My a little bit of dream was to study economics in London, London School of Economics.
Sure.
Uh, but I never applied. That would have been a dream, I think. That's one of the I think universities, at least when it comes to economics, that's would have been really interesting too. to experience.
And I did my little varied, not to your level, but in British terms, just before university, I did 2 years of economics. I've forgotten an awful lot of it, but I have a rough understanding.
Yeah.
What is it within economics specifically that you really enjoy? Is it the statistics, the mathematics side?
Yeah, I'm a numbers person, I think. I like the statistics. I like the, financial numbers, things like that. So, yeah, I think I'm mostly fascinated by that. Even though much of the research I've done, it's maybe more about marketing, uh, because I did the sponsorship research, and so that's a little bit of different world. But I found Formula One so fascinating. And yeah, but basically it's it's about numbers.
So when you finished, you mentioned that you did some research in sports and Formula One. Was that during the Masters, or was it after you finished the Masters you started doing that?
Yeah, it was after I finished the masters, or just in the end of it, because I decided that it was in the end of the master studies. I decided that I would continue with research, and uh, and for some reason found sponsorship as a research area very interesting because I thought it was, underdeveloped in a way. It had been done some research, but I found that it was really quite elementary, or it wasn't that there was a lot to develop in the sponsorship research field. So that's why I maybe chose that one. Then there was the interest for Formula One, and I wrote some, articles in Finnish business papers about sponsorship, and I found that this is quite an area where, some people thought that this is not even business, it's not marketing, it's just some, goodwill, or it's not business. So I guess I had a idea to try to convince people that sponsorship can be business if you do it right. And that's why I chose a little bit Formula One as the the sport that I thought at that time that in Formula One sponsorship must be really, advanced, well thought through and everything. So that was the path to the Formula One world.
And in terms of why Formula One versus other sports or even outside of sports, just sponsor in general, were you interested in the sport itself? Was it the numbers are much bigger? Like what was it exactly that fascinated you there?
I think it was about Formula One was a global sport, and it was about a lot of money involved. So I thought that this must be the sport where I find the sponsorship that is really, really, advanced. And the cases must be, well planned, well organized. The sponsorship decisions need to be done by math, numbers, stats, figures, and that was my, belief. Um, the truth was a little bit different, I think, even at least in the early 90s, because I pretty much quite early found out that at that time, many of the sponsorship decisions in Formula One were made by not financial decisions or stats or research, or they were many of them were made. It was a feeling that I want to be in Formula One,
Mm.
and many companies entered Formula One just by that, I think, willingness to be part of that glamorous Formula One world. Uh, it was a sticker on the car, and they were in the paddock enjoying themselves, and the guests, and um so I was really disappointed what I found out about Formula One sponsorship at that time. Much have changed. Thanks for that. It's a different world now. But at that time when I started, it was awful almost. And of course, the tobacco sponsorship was the dominant sponsorship sector at that time. Almost all teams has had tobacco backing, so it was a different world. And then I, of course, had the opportunity to be part of a project where the idea was find a sponsorship for Mika Häkkinen uh, to secure a seat in Formula One. And Keke Rosberg at that time was trying to find sponsorship from Finland, and I was assisting in that project to convince Finnish industry and Finnish companies to be part of Formula One.
And how did you go about that? Oh, gosh, were they very skeptical at that time? Was it?
Wow. It was really tough to convince them, and it still is. Uh, we haven't had a Finnish company in Formula One now for a couple of years. Now, just last week, we got one a water company signed a small partnership with Haas, so that's brilliant. But Keke needed quite a lot of money from Finland, and yeah, it was difficult. He found some money, but not enough, I think. So I'm not sure. I haven't talked about it with him, but I think he had to finance some of the some with his own money, I think. So, but yeah, it was interesting, but it was tough to find that budget for Mika from Finland.
And so when you say budget for the driver, what does that even mean? Do the driver have to pay a certain fee to get a
Yeah,
seat?
yeah, he hadn't secured any Formula One seat at that time, so he had an offer from Team Lotus at that time,
Hmm.
um, and but he had to bring in a budget, and he was. He had had some great success in the Formula 3 and in the British Formula 3. So, for instance, so of course everybody saw him as a brilliant driver, but he had to have a budget because Team Lotus at that time was a small team. Uh, they didn't have they had paid drive or didn't have couldn't pay the drivers. They have drivers have to bring a budget at that time.
Is that
That
still done in any of the teams today, or is it very different now?
uh, I think it's some drivers still have partnerships and they have budgets uh, that they bring into the team. Uh, and that have changed a lot, but um, I think, for instance, Franco Colapinto, he brought some partners from Argentina. Uh, for as an example, Sergio Perez, he had a big budget from Mexico. So still quite many drivers have their own partnership network that they bring into the team.
Mm.
And I think that's something that's is great for the team, great for the team. And when even when they choose a driver, they have, of course, it's a expensive sport. So I think if a driver has a budget, if it's a good driver, so that's just a plus. But I don't. I, I'm not sure if we talk about drivers bringing budgets, securing a seat with a budget today as it was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago. Uh, Today, the teams are so well funded. So I think if we go back 20 years, 10 years, the quality of the drivers was perhaps uh, uh, not as good as today. Now the quality of all the drivers is, they are brilliant drivers, uh, all Formula One drivers, and because the teams are quite well um funded, uh, even though some teams still struggle, I think, with the budgets.
So you spent those 3 years how do I pronounce it? Is it Spamotion research?
Yeah, yeah. When I found out that just to talk about sponsorship, I actually in my research I contacted like 200 companies, uh, asked about sponsorship, and uh, s- many of the companies I contacted and I told them, I would like to talk about sponsorship. They more or less uh, hang up They- because for most of the companies, I think the word sponsorship just meant there's someone begging for money. This
Sure.
is not serious. So I tried to develop a new concept, and the concept was promotion. And to try to explain it, it's the ultimate or more advanced form of sponsorship. Like I think the sponsorship of today in Formula One and even in Premier League, uh, for instance, and many other sports could be described as promotion rather than sponsorship. So that's how it came up, or how I came up with a new concept.
Is it portmanteau of sponsorship and motion and promotion? Is that the idea?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of things, but just to get away a little bit from the sponsorship, the traditional sponsorship, because it's a concept, it's a word that doesn't have a serious meaning for that many people, I think, even in the business world. And if you look at sponsorship, different countries also, it has different meanings. Uh, so I think it would be time to maybe have another word for, or sponsorship. It's okay, but when describing the advanced form of business uh, sponsorship, I think promotion could be a better word.
And
I use it, but I don't know.
so after you spend a couple of years in the research phase and trying to help the Finnish driver you mentioned to gain his seat,
Yeah.
what was the next kind of thing you went into?
Yeah, it's we had children, and we have life came in between, and it took a couple of years because before I, in the year of 2000, returned to maybe Formula One world. Then I formed a company with Stefan Johansson, a Swedish um, Swede living in the States, and he's a former Formula One driver.
Hmm.
He drove for Ferrari, for McLaren, uh, and we had a view of. It was early 2000. we had the cell phones, we had the digital world was building up, and we both had an idea that how could this be implemented, used in Formula One. So we had this crazy idea to build a network or a phone or a or that that was using the telemetry data from a Formula One car. You know, uh, the Formula One cars, they have these sensors, and the engineers monitor everything that's happening in the car. And this was year 2000, and uh, we were together with a Swedish company called Ericsson, a big mobile company, and a French company called Capgemini or
Yep.
Capgemini. So with them, we had a 2-year project that we were actually testing uh, if it's possible to transfer telemetry data from a running Formula One car to a mobile device. So that was that was the idea, and uh, it was a fascinating idea. I think still is in a way. We tried to commercialize the telemetry data, uh, but we were too early because there were, the networks. Uh, they were not that advanced uh, to handle all the data, to handle all the traffic, and but we did I think, a good job to get that far that we could test it. And at that time, I actually wanted to show you that the phones looked like this at that.
That
Um,
3210 or something.
yeah, it's a Nokia.
Yeah.
And, this was, uh, and uh, we developed a Formula One phone, and this was the we had two of these, and one was uh, presented for Bernie Ecclestone, the Formula One, at the Grand Prix at Monaco, and he really liked the idea that people could go around with the phone and get, information from Formula One to their mobile phone. That this was really something new, something crazy. But I think he was really conservative, and he realized that spreading data, spreading information to mobile devices, uh, I think that was too. He didn't like the idea, even though he said that we were allowed to test it. So we tested it, but we didn't launch it. And yeah,
So I just show the phone again because it's hard to see, but I just noticed it has the F1 logo and it's got a checkered flag on the front and back, right?
yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
And these were like produced for that project. So
So
this is the only one left.
that's a bit. It must pretty worth. It's got to be worth something, right?
I don't know.
It's very interesting.
I wonder if Bernie Ecclestone still have the phone. I don't think so.
That'd be interesting. So when you say trying to get the data from the cars to a phone, is it literally was that for enthusiasts or was it for people who were in the business to be able to?
Yeah, the idea was that you could like um, subscribe to a Formula One service and get information live from the cars. Uh, so that the idea was to build a commercial application, basically. And so yeah, so but the networks while testing it, it actually worked quite well. But when we started to put some load on with more traffic and everything, it just jammed more or less.
So is that
Uh,
almost to just who's in the lead, what's the car speed, like all these sorts of things?
yeah, car speed. There was quite many sensors that we tested.
Right.
Uh, so we even had an idea to use some data from the driver, like driver pulse or something. But that was going too far, I think.
Very
Yeah,
interesting. And what
yeah.
led you to doing that? Was it just had this idea that it'd be interesting for enthusiasts to get closer to what's going on around the world?
Yeah, I think we had the idea was to, to actually for a fan to be part of the race itself,
Right.
to actually be able to follow your car or your driver so close that you even get the same data as the engineers in the paddock got. Uh, so maybe it could still be an idea to I don't know. It's maybe still too crazy. I
It's
don't know.
definitely interesting. So I see you spent 9 years in sports telecom. That could
Yeah, we realized that when we did this project, we realized that Formula One is so protected because Bernie Ecclestone told us that, you know, you can do this project, but it will cost you 500,000 US dollars uh, to get any data from Formula One. Because he said immediately that there's a licensing fee or we immediately, of course, realized that this is getting too difficult. It was too many forces involved that was trying, of course, to capitalize on the idea. And we realized that Formula One, how protected Formula One, and still is, of course. You can't do anything in Formula One without rights, without a license. And what we did was that we tried to get rights. And the next step was to get Formula One rights, Formula One mobile rights. So we did some agreements in Formula One, uh, and the idea was to develop mobile services based on Formula One teams, Formula One brands. There was like games, uh, different images to and and phone covers, for instance.
Mhm.
I could show you this. This was a again, I realized that I only have these Nokias left, but these kind of phone covers that you could at that time you could change the phone cover on your
Yeah.
phone, and this was a big product at that time, and but we had the rights for these brands,
Nice.
and and uh, but the at that time Finland was maybe the number one country in the world when it comes to developing mobile games. So we joined some Finnish mobile game companies, and together with them, we didn't develop the games; they did. We just got the rights, got the license, and they developed a game that was then distributed through different mobile uh, companies and operators. and portals and everything. So I think during 2003 to 2007, we launched something like 15 games. So
Wow.
uh, I think so, and different kind of mobile services. I think we must have been one of the first in the world that did that kind of business in Formula One. And I have to show you one thing because this is quite interesting. Um, we had an idea also to, this is just a prototype. Um, we had an idea of a gift box that you could buy. Uh, in this box, we just have the phone covers, but the idea was to have a phone, actual phone in this, and different accessories and pre-installed games and mobile services in the phone.
Nice.
So yeah, these kind of products we were,
Very good.
developing together with the Formula One teams and Formula One brands. Again, this was a struggle because um, at that time, again, uh, to develop a game, it was a long process. It took, in many cases, 1.5 years to develop a game. And usually the agreements we signed with the Formula One teams or Formula One drivers were 2 years. So almost in the end of the agreement, we got out, the game was ready to be launched. So it was a tricky business, but really interesting. It's much easier today with the smartphones, with the different technology, and but at that time, just to get a game developed, it was really expensive to develop a game. And we had one story also. We had the rights for the Williams Formula One team, and in the middle of our agreement, or quite, I think it was we launched I think one game, and then Williams had AT&T, the American company, as a title partner, and that meant that the 2 or 3 next games we were developing with the Finnish gaming companies, they had to be branded with AT&T. And, it was after that, it was impossible to get that game distributed through, for instance, Vodafone or
Sure.
Telefonica, because they said, no, we're not distributing an AT&T game. So, it was it was a tricky business.
Would you say it was successful over its tenure?
No, it wasn't that successful. I wouldn't say we spent a lot of money investing in the games, in the business, and all the licenses, all the agreements in Formula One are usually upfront payments, and so it was difficult to get the balance. You know, you have to pay upfront to the team for the rights, and then sometimes we waited 1.5 years for the game to be ready.
Wow.
And but we learned a lot about Formula One business, and we learned a lot about the rights and how the protection of Formula One, how important it is to have the rights, to have the licenses to do if you are going to do anything in Formula One.
Out of interest, the funding for that business, did it come from outside investors? Where did you get funding from?
We had some outside funding, but not much. We actually we in that sense it was a little success, I would say, because we didn't go bankrupt, and we didn't need that much funding. I think it was actually these even though our company idea was to launch these digital products like mobile
Sure.
games, but these were actually the products that kept us running, the physical products, the phone covers, and these were selling really good. So I think,
So how much was a phone cover costing you, and how much were you selling it for at that time, do you think?
uh, oh, I don't remember, but uh, I really can't remember how it was. It was good margins on
Sure.
these. Um, we had we didn't get the agreement with Nokia, and that's a great story too because uh, Nokia was really interested to be part of the Formula One project we had, uh, and but they said that uh, we can't remove the Nokia logo or brand. And then we went to Bernie Ecclestone, and he said that I don't want the Nokia brand. You have to remove it. Uh, so both were, of course, and I understand, both were protecting their brand.
Yeah.
And so we didn't get Nokia involved, but we got Nokia's uh, a company close to Nokia that then started the cooperation with us. They went bankrupt, not because of us or our project or our covers, but that was a big blow for us because then we suddenly lost the supplier of the phone covers.
Right. I'm curious. Forgive me, I forget the name of the ex F1 driver that you partnered with. One, how did you come into contact with the Swedish ex F1 driver? And two, did you find working with him because of the background being a sports person in a very competitive field? Was there a certain way in which he worked that was like a high achiever, if that makes sense?
Yeah, the story is that I was at that time writing some articles about sponsorship and the promotion concept in Finnish business papers. And I think Keke Rosberg read some of I don't know if it was him or it was some of his friends.
Sure.
And he contacted me that if I could help with finding sponsorship from Finland. Uh, my role was just simple research role in a way, just to provide them with data, provide them with some facts, information, and try to, you know, get the academic feeling of the offer. Uh, and Keke Rosberg and Stefan Johansson, they knew each other well.
Oh, okay.
Uh, so there was that kind of link. So I met Stefan through Keke Rosberg, and and Stefan and I we still work together. So uh, we have this promotion analytics uh, venture, if we call it a venture or adventure, together. So yeah, so we have been actually working. We started with these uh, mobile projects with Stefan, and we still work together. He's um, maybe best known for being a driver manager. He's the driver manager of Scott Dixon uh, driving in IndyCar, and Felix Rosenqvist, a Swede, in for IndyCar. But he's a brilliant artist, and he is really interested in new projects and also research about Formula One and different sports. So yeah, we have worked for a long time.
And talking of working with high achievers, what was you've alluded to it a bit, but what was Bernie Ecclestone like? You had personal contact with him.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Uh, I had personal contact with his lawyers.
Right.
And I remember Stefan, of course, knew him because they had,
Sure.
Stefan was in that world with and had been a driver for a long time. So they got really got well along. And when Stefan, when Bernie Ecclestone said to us that, we can test this, but it will cost you $500,000. That was a bargain. Uh, Bernie Ecclestone, I think, thought, and Stefan said that, this is a good price, but for a small company, it, it was we would have been able to find the money for it, I think. And one of the big telecom companies said that we can pay the $500,000. Uh, but I think we would, at that time, we had tested it so much, so we knew that this is more or less impossible.
Sure.
Uh, we will not get the rights. It will cost us a lot, and we knew the technical uh, issues and problems. So it was not worth it bringing in $500,000
Yeah.
and get the rights just to realize that this was not possible. But I remember I was so scared when I first got uh, the agreement from Formula One and Bernie Ecclestone. It was like, I don't remember how many pages it was, but it was really scary. And I thought that if I sign this, it's it would be, and we don't have the money for the upfronts and everything. It would be a challenge, I think. Yeah. So I have the agreement still, but we never had them.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
And after your sports telecom company, uh,
yeah.
what was the what where did you move to then? Did you go back into the sponsorship side or what do you do next?
The next step was actually this analytics business, and
Right.
we still have Sports Telecom as a company. Yeah, but I wanted maybe to use this promotion concept and word because it's in a way business now. Um, uh, we use this promotion analytics name. So that was the next step. We have done this for maybe 5 years,
Sure.
and, we have realized that sports and sports sponsorship partnerships, uh, they are getting more and more advanced, uh, and the need for data, the need for information, the need for analytics, uh, that's more and more important. So we think that we have, and that's of course that's my passion to
Sure.
the analytics side, and yeah,
So
this has.
do you have companies coming to you asking where you see opportunities or quite crudely, how much should I be paying for this or that, or where does your kind of business work? Or who's
Yeah, we have companies that, they have maybe had a contact from a Formula One team, and then they come to us maybe and ask that, how should we do this? Do we have anything to is it worth for us going to Formula One? Are there any competitors to us? Are there any customers? How are we getting the maximum out of this? So we are like advisor to companies.
sure,
Many of them, I think, never. They have maybe perhaps been contacted, and there is a suggestion, and but many of the companies that we talk to, uh, I think. they would never go to Formula One, but they want to understand what they are missing, or they want to understand what the opportunities are. They want to understand uh, uh, and be sure that this is nothing for us. Or on the other hand, some companies maybe say that uh, this is just what we need. So, but we try to be very objective and provide data, provide analytics, statistics, and to help make the right decisions.
It's an interesting one because a lot of people, say imagine who have a business, um, and you're looking at different avenues for marketing. You know, the very much banded around acronym of ROI, return on investment, is what people think about in marketing. However, often it's very difficult to figure out what that might be. How do
Yeah.
you guys go about trying to advise somebody how they'll even track that, how they'll even, figure out whether it's okay, maybe another question as well on the back of that. What's a good brand fit and what's worthwhile? How do you figure out if a brand's worthwhile if they come to you to go down the Formula One route or if it's just not for them?
It's I think the main issue for many companies is the cost.
Hmm.
It's expensive to be in Formula One, uh, and many of the companies that we talk to, uh, they see the upsides, and they see you know uh, it could be worth being in Formula One, but the cost is just too big. And sometimes it's about they would like to be with Scuderia Ferrari or with Red Bull or with McLaren, and but that's for I think the big boys. Um, so they think if we go with some of the smaller teams, so is it worth it then to bring in a smaller budget? But is it worth? It's so many things to consider. Uh, they are quite complex cases many times, and but the I think at least Scandinavian companies they are. I think it's so different going to America. We are not working with American companies. We are working with European companies, basically with Scandinavian companies, and they are so conservative compared to American companies. Many
Sure.
of the American companies, they have a different mindset. They see the opportunities. Uh, in Europe, in Scandinavia, they analyze it. They want to analyze it,
Yeah.
and then they found realize that it's too expensive.
So
In America, it's a different mindset.
on a sort of sliding scale, it's probably not the easiest question to answer. Like, where does a sponsorship start from, and how crazy do they actually go to price wise across the piece?
Uh, it's this is a good question because uh, it's so dependent on the team, on the situation of the team. Uh, uh, you can get a sponsorship deal without bringing any cash if you have a good. This is something that maybe many companies don't understand. They they think that we need to have $10 million or 10 million pounds to be part of Formula One. But it's possible to be part of Formula One if you can have a good product, have a good solution, have something that the team needs, and you can be a technical partner, or you can be a without bringing cash, but you bring knowledge, you bring
Right.
something that you need. Uh, and there are many companies that have products, have solutions, applications that could be valuable for the team.
Sure.
Uh, and
What would be an example of a current partnership that exists like that?
I think we have quite many of the IT tech
Right.
uh, partnerships, uh, AI partnerships.
Sure.
That's a great sector at the moment. We have seen many new companies entering Formula One. Uh, Young companies founded just maybe 2, 3 years ago that are still startup companies with not much revenue, but they have a valuable solution for the team. Uh, so you don't have to be. This is maybe something that have changed a lot. Uh, you don't have to be a multi-billion-dollar company to be part of Formula One. It's possible for a startup to be part of Formula One if you have the right solution.
That's
Uh,
interesting.
so
That's interesting. Have you noticed that I mean, I'm right in saying it was Drive to Survive, the Formula One
yeah,
docu-series on Netflix, right?
yeah, yeah.
Has the audience size from, I don't know if the word is consumers, but the people that are watching the sport and the interest level, has that increased quite significantly since the Netflix docu-series?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just amazing what a boom it caused. And it's uh, it's a different world now, Formula One, than compared to before Drive to Survive. Even though we saw already then that Formula One was building up really good in a way. And 2017, when Liberty Media took over the sport, they have done an amazing job. Uh, they opened up the sport through all these social media channels. All this they have used all those tools to that is possible to reach uh, new audiences, young people, and they have done it's amazing job they have done, I think. And we see now that Apple TV, Apple agreement, just 750 million. We see, race organizers signing 10-year extensions on deals. Um, it's such a boom. It's such a amazing development that I think nobody would have expected this. We had 2020 with the COVID situation when Formula One was bleeding, the both teams and the series and everything, and now they just pile up strong quarters after the other, and the teams are having really strong profits, and at least the top teams. So it's a very valuable business today.
And are those profits mainly derived from the sponsorship agreements versus like what they get for winning races and championships, that type of thing?
Uh, of course, it's we have tried to understand how much part sponsorship every team uh, generates, but then you have all these. Uh, of course, Liberty Media is paying the teams fees also, and this I think have changed a lot. That there are the structure of the business is it's really amazingly strong today, and because the money is coming in from the so many channels today. Uh, that's helping the teams, helping the sport, and all the races, the venues, they are sold out. The TV agreements they sign are amazing. So it's 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 a big business today.
My final question, I think, for today is you've been involved with the F1 now for actually longer than I've been alive, over
Yeah,
30,
so
35 years maybe. Um, you've seen a lot of changes. What do you see the future holding? Where do you want to see sponsorship going? You've alluded to companies having a better understanding as to how to maximize and what actually sponsorship means. What do you want to see, or what do you think you'll see in the next kind of 5, 10 years?
I think that a lot have happened when it comes to the structure of the sponsorship deals. Uh, Today, the teams they're really clever building up the offerings, building up the cases, building up the sponsorship packages, and using very many different tools. And but the I think the problem is that many companies involved perhaps don't understand to use all those possibilities, all those options. Uh, so I would like to see uh, companies use Formula One even more effectively and uh, better than they do today. There are really good cases today in Formula One when it comes to sponsorship cases, but still there's a lot, I think, to develop. Uh, we still see companies coming in where, the maybe CEO is a big fan. He would like to be in Formula One. He brings in his company, pay 10 million, and is part of Formula One, and maybe not using the sport, not using the team, not using the possibilities. So I would like to see even more uh, uh, effective use of the opportunities that Formula One offers, because the opportunities today are amazing, I think. And I would like, or we would like to help our clients and companies understand all those options, all those possibilities better, that they don't think that Formula One is just about having that 10 million or 20 million or 30 million budget and then the sticker on the car. And then we have a good time in the paddock.
Yeah,
And, you know, we don't want to see that. We want the business side of the sponsorship in Formula One to develop even more and to get the companies, uh, the big brands in the world, to understand that this is the place they need to be in Formula One.
that's great. Well, thank you really so much for your time. As with all these interviews that I do, I always find it fascinating to learn like how people have got to where they've got to, what they're passionate about and interested in, and it comes across that you love the Formula One business and the sponsorship model, and I think it's so interesting given your involvement with the mobile phone side and working with the actual brand itself or the business itself in the 2000s and having an ex-Formula One driver in your kind of business as well. I wish you all the success and look forward to seeing where things go with you.
Thank you. It was, I hope that I could contribute something, because it's it's not that easy always to explain uh, what we are doing or what we are trying to do. But I hope I could express that Formula One today it's a great business opportunity.
I think you definitely put that across for sure, and I'll make sure I put some links so people can reach out to you and if they have any more interest in the topic.
Thank you. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.